Hi, Tiffany. How are you? How's it going? Welcome back to my surgery room. I've missed you so much, Tiffany. Before we get started, I just want to explain this makeup and this vibe. I know that it's not cohesive. I'm wearing this cyber goth kind of look with the cutest cottagecore headband sweater. It's not cohesive, so it doesn't match, but here we are. Today we have part 2 of my book haul. Before we get started, again, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, check out my Patreon. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff like reading sprints, exclusive content, early access to content. We have a book club with special guests, etc. Check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below if you're interested. Let's get started with the book haul. I have a good mixture of a bit of everything. First things first, I'm the realist. And I also have this book, which is called Night Watching by Tracy Sierra. I don't know very much about this book. I honestly bought it because I had heard one or two people talk about it, and I also know that it was going out of stock. I was curious. I was like, okay, why is everybody flocking to buy this book? I want to know. I did buy it. So Night Watching is about an unnamed main character. We don't know her name. It's late in the night and she is tucking her children back into bed after one of them had woken up. Things are normal. Things are fine. And as she's tucking him in and as she's getting up to go, she sees somebody shrouded in darkness at the end of her hallway. And so immediately she's like, oh no, no, how about no? And so she goes to her children. She's like, get the fuck up. We gotta get the fuck out. Her and her children get into this little crawl space thing, like a tiny hidden room kind of. I'm imagining it's kind of like a tiny panic room that would be kind of concealed. Even though I literally have no use for it, I kind of want one of those kinds of rooms, specifically those rooms where you pull a book and then it flips. Oh my gosh, especially the ones too where it's there's a staircase behind it. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, she's in the little crawl space type of thing with her children hiding, and this dude who's in her house, this intruder, is come out wherever you are, blah blah blah, come here children, I have candy, whatever. He's trying to get her children to come out, but she's like, no, these children are staying with me, thank you so much. And as she's watching him just creeping about looking for her and her children, she then realizes, I know this fucking guy and I know exactly what the fuck he wants. I kind of get it. I kind of get why people are sort of up in arms about it. It does sound really, really fun. So I'm excited, honestly, to read it. I don't know what to expect. Let me know also if you want to see a reading vlog or something of me reading this. I would be into that. Let me know. And then I have This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer. I don't remember if I've talked about this before in a haul or I just talked about it in a TBR video. I don't remember, so I'm going to mention it again. I'm honestly currently reading this and I'm about 20 minutes away from the end. Basically, this is about this rock climber, this girl whose name is Dylan. So Dylan is on the up and up when it comes to rock climbing influencers. She's got, I think 20,000, maybe 50,000 ish followers. She's really dedicated to making this her full-time job. That's her dream. Her friend Clay is hey, I'm doing this thing for school and I found this really cool mountain that's kind of unused. Nobody's really climbed it yet. Would you be interested in going with me and Sylvia, my assistant, to this thing? And so she's like, hell yeah. So Dylan, Sylvia, Clay, and Dylan's boyfriend, Luke, and their dog go to this cliff, this mountain thing to climb it. However, when they get there, things are not as they seem. In my opinion, it's kind of The Ruins by Scott Smith-ish. It's that kind of vibe. Tiffany, I have this book, which I'm so excited about. Literally when I saw it in store, I was like, okay, wait, why am I literally turned on? I needed a moment, honestly, to catch my breath in the bookstore because I was like, this is too much. I can't take it. So I have Immortal Pleasures by V. Castro. Look at this, Tiffany. Oh my God. You cannot tell me that does not do something to you. Even if you're 100% a straighty, even if you're not attracted to women. Ugh. Immortal Pleasures. I've been looking forward to this so much since I heard about it. It sounds so good. From what I understand, okay, we're following this woman, this vampire, hundreds of years ago, who was translating stuff for this conquistador, but apparently she betrayed him in some way. And so he was like, okay, well, fuck you. And so he killed her and all of her people and stuff like that, which is not great. In the ashes of the empire, she is reborn as a vampire. As like a vampire, she kind of just goes around and is like helping people regain stolen artifacts, basically. In her searching, is there really time for love? Not really. She's like in Dublin, you know, because she's traveling all over the place, and she meets this guy who's like a horror writer. He's like immortal. He's kind of like freaked out. He's like, oh my god, you're kind of freaky deaky, but then also he's like, but I kind of like it. Like, he's kind of freaky deaky himself. And then she also meets this like immortal dude who's similar to her, I think, who's also like into her. And so she's like, oh my god, I have like two guys, who will I choose kind of energy, or maybe they'll just be like a throuple situation. I'm so excited to read this. Sexy vampires, perhaps a polyamorous thing. I love it. I've also been so excited to read this book. The moment I heard about it, I was like, okay, so I need that in my life. And that is Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. The premise of this sounds so fun, so cute, but also kind of like horrific. In this, we are following this like shapeshifter creature. It's currently like living in a swamp as this sort of like amorphous lump. But then she's interrupted in her rest by these like really impolite monster hunters who are like, oh my god, that's a monster, we should kill it. She's like, oh, not today, honey, not today. And it says that she constructs a body fit for devouring by reabsorbing the remains of past meals, a metal chain for a backbone, borrowed bones for limbs, and a bear trap for an extra mouth. First of all, that's sick as fuck. After some things go a little bit badly, this monster finds herself being nursed back to health by this girl named Homily. Homily thinks that the monster's a human. She's like, oh my gosh, this poor girl, poor thing. The monster is kind of like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. You know, her first thought is like, okay, that's perfect, because you would make like the perfect like co-parent. Like, I could just like lay my eggs inside of you and then they would just like burrow their way out of you alive, like from the inside out. But then as time kind of goes on, she's like, wait a minute, this Homily bitch is kind of nice. I kind of like her a little bit. But then Homily is like, my family were cursed by this monster, by the shapeshifter. I'm a monster hunter, and my like goal, my like charge is to find the monster and kill it. So eating her girlfriend isn't an option. Neither is like laying eggs in her and killing her that way. And our main character, our monster, didn't kill anyone, didn't like curse anyone, but she's interested to know why Homily and her family thinks that she might have. A bigger challenge remains, surviving her toxic in-laws long enough to learn to rebuild a life with, rather than in, the love of her life. That's so nice, right? It sounds so cute, so weird. It's giving like monster romance with like a little bit of horror, which I'm into. The moment I saw this book cover, I knew in my heart that I needed it for myself, and that is Bored Gay Werewolf by Tony Santorella. Bro, look at that fucking wolf. Oh my god. It's gorgeous. The title, the cover, I'm living for everything about this. I honestly knew I was gonna get it before I even read the synopsis, but then I read the synopsis and I was like, it does sound cool as fuck, so it works out. In this, we're following Brian. Brian is like an aimless slacker. He works at like a restaurant. He never cleans his apartment, and he gets blackout drunk with his friends whose names are Nick and Darby. Brian's not great, and like he's really struggling with this like transition from like teenagehood to adulthood. Like he hasn't really gotten it right, and he's also struggling with the transition of like turning into a werewolf once a month. And like also what's worse than that is like the fact that he's like maybe killing people. Ooh, it's not great. But then he meets this guy named Tyler, and Tyler is a millennial entrepreneur determined to explore exponential growth strategies in the mythological wellness market. And so Brian like meets Tyler and he's like, oh my god, okay, wait, you seem to have your shit together. Maybe I could learn some things from you. Tyler has a plan and he wants Brian to kind of like be a part of it. Part of that plan sort of helps Brian actually like get a little bit more, like kind of get his shit together. But as Brian gets closer to Tyler's pack and drifts further from Nick and Darby, he realizes that Tyler's expansion plans are much more nefarious than a little lupine enlightenment. If you said to me, Tiffany, you said, Joraline, Do you want gay werewolf fiction that wasn't like Omegaverse, like weird shit? Not, like you wouldn't even have to ask. You wouldn't even have to ask, Tiffany, because it's like an actual yes. It's 100% a yes. I'm gonna need that. And so that's why I purchased this book. That's why I purchased this book. Okay, I bought this next book simply because I saw the title and I thought, wait a minute. That sounds like deep, but like also kind of like horrific. And it's called I Died Too, but They Haven't Buried Me Yet. Honestly, the cover as well is like kind of retro-ish. In this, we're following this guy named Henry. Henry's daughter, who's 14, went missing like a few years ago. And since she went missing, Henry has kind of like been burying pieces of her. Every totem Henry places in the ground is a memento mori of his daughter's life that he's desperate to forget. He's living in grief and in guilt, and he cannot move on from it. Like, he is stuck in that place. Even though she went missing years ago, he is burdened. But all is not lost. Henry is at this like grief counseling group. Henry meets this like dark and mysterious dude at the counseling group, and this guy like notices Henry, and he comes up and he's like, have you ever considered just like talking to your daughter from beyond the grave, like beyond the pale or whatever? What follows is a tale of deception and possession like no other. Personally, me, I love grief horror. There's something about it that really like resonates with me, and this sounds so fucking good. And the title, couldn't pass it up because the title was so cool. This book, which is I think a middle grade horror novel, and it's called The Very Unfortunate Wish of Melanie Yoshimura. This cover is absolutely stunning. This is about Melanie. Obviously, Melanie is kind of sick of her parents, how fucking controlling they are all the time, like constantly just like up her butt, like don't write out that way, oh finish your homework, always like limiting her. Her parents are like, it's because of the amanjaku, I think that's how you pronounce it, I could be saying that wrong. It's like demonic force of Japanese folklore. Melanie is like, okay, that's literally bullshit, but like whatever. On her 12th birthday, Melanie blows out her candles and she wishes for freedom. She wishes for the freedom that her parents won't give her. As if conjured by her wish, the amanjaku sort of like comes forward and like greets Melanie and is like, hey, I heard you wanted freedom. Melanie's like freaked out. She's like, wait a minute, you're a fucking demon. Like, ew, what? A demon is kind of like, that's kind of rude to say that, but like I get it. But like I'm honestly like, it's all very chill. Like I don't want to do anything crazy. I would never. Me, no. Melanie begins sort of taking powers from this amanjaku, and so she's able to like shapeshift, she's able to like just do magic or whatever. Melanie doesn't realize that the amanjaku's friendship has sinister consequences. The demon now has control of her life, over her body, over everything. Melanie is determined to set things right, but will she be able to before the demon turns her life, her family, and her community upside down? Who doesn't love like a little demon folklore moment? This might be my favorite book that I bought. It's only because the cover, the binding. Let me just show you, okay? Let me show you this, which is called When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Do you fucking see this, Tiffany? Are you seeing this, my dude? Hello? This might be one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen. It's gorgeous. And not only that, I just like, I don't know why, but I'm just like, I just love it. I just love the feel of it. I love that it's like the short, kind of thick tome. It's the first book in what is called the Moonfall series. I honestly didn't realize when I bought this, I think it had only come out like a few days before. I didn't realize. I thought this was like maybe like a bind up of like an older series. I think this is a new series. But also let me fucking show you, Tiffany. Like, are you excuse me? It's stunning. It's stunning. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. I like, all I want to do is just like sit down and absolutely destroy this book. I don't know why. Do you know what I mean? Like when something is so pretty and so perfect, you either want to like protect it and never ruin it, or just completely eviscerate it. I can't help but think also that like if I reduce it down and actually read this, I would break the spine immediately, and then I would have to buy a new copy. But I was also thinking, like, is it crazy to ruin this copy and then buy a new copy? I don't know. don't know. Anyway, listen, do I think that this is like romantasy? I kind of do. I kind of think it's romantasy and I kind of wish it wasn't, but also like, I don't really care, you know? The back of the book says that it's a fast-paced romantasy featuring an immersive, vibrant world with mysterious creatures, a unique magic system, and a love that blazes through the ages. First of all, we have this like assassin whose name is Rave, and her job is to complete orders and never get caught, okay? That's like her only job. And also probably like to kill people, but like that's like number one, don't get caught. But then when a rival bounty hunter turns her world upside down, blood spills and hearts break, and Rave finds herself imprisoned by like the Guild of Nobles, a group of powerful fae who turn her into a political statement. Don't know what that means. Maybe they turn her into a dragon. That'd be kind of cool. I'm just saying. So I think the bounty hunter, who I think was her like love interest, is named Khan. He's like fully decapitated a king and like took in his crown and like melted it down and like dons it for himself, you know, which is kind of crazy, kind of badass. He is now on a tireless quest to quell the never-ending ache in his chest. A clue lures him to this prison where he stumbles upon Rave. Echoes of the past race between them. There's more to their story than meets the eye, but some truths are too poisonous to swallow. I don't know what to expect. I don't know. But it's a beautiful fucking book. Even if I hate this book with my entire being, I don't think I'll ever get rid of this because it's, I received this arc a while ago and I never talked, I've talked about it briefly. I honestly did start reading it, but I never finished it. But that is The Fury by Alex McAladides. A lot of people told me that this is the symbol for the evil eye. I literally had no idea. Did not know that. So thank you so much for letting me know. This is basically like, a bunch of people go to an island. Oh no, somebody is murdered at the island. No. And we have to like figure out who killed them. Because there's only like, I think maybe like 6 people there. So it has to be one of them. Kind of reminds me of like Lucy Foley. Like I said, I did read it. I got that far in. I still hate this cover, if I'm being honest. I still hate it. I'm sorry. We have 5 books left to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about this because I bought it simply because I've just seen it. Tiffany, I've seen this book cover. I have a feeling that like some of the girlies are reading it and like loving it and stuff like that. And then I also saw that like the sequel was released and I was like, okay, well maybe I should just get the first book because maybe it's good because everyone fucking loves it. Even though I'm really not like a romance girly, like strictly, do you know what I mean? Like I am a romance girly in some ways, but in a lot of ways I do hate a lot of romance, specifically like hetero romance. So it's kind of crazy that I bought it, but I also feel like this is kind of like a thriller. Let me know if you've read this. But that is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. Also, this book was only $16.50. $16 isn't free, but it's also like $16. Like $16 is like $7.50 kind of vibes. The actual like book, it's like this kind of like floppy paperback. It's got this cool cover. It's cheap. Everyone likes it. Like it was just like everywhere. And like I did at multiple points stop myself from buying this because I was like, no, like I can't. But then eventually I did cave. And thankfully I didn't buy the sequel. You're not going to see the sequel. Okay. I didn't buy it. I thought about it. I thought about buying the sequel, but I'm not a fucking sucker. This is about Autumn and Finn. Finn and Autumn were inseparable. Like they were absolutely best fucking friends and like you could not tear them apart. But then something happened and they were no longer on speaking terms, on looking terms, on like nothing. They both kind of move on with their lives. Like Autumn gets a boyfriend named Jamie and like she spends a lot of time with her friends and like Finn becomes like the most popular guy at like school. This is like high school kids. But Autumn just can't help but feel, you know, the way she feels about Finn. There's this nagging, growing thought within her that like, if things had been different, if things could have changed, maybe they would be together. And as time passes, Autumn realizes that she might not get another chance to make things right before it's too late. I feel like Finn's gonna die. Is that crazy to say? I feel like he's gonna die. Either way. Next up, I have Where Sleeping Girls Lie. The cover says, Secrets haunt these hallowed halls. I feel as though this is like another dark academia book. So this is from the author of Ace of Spades, which I fucking loved so much. When I saw that she had a new book out, I was like, I need it. We need to make it happen. I also kind of hope that it's gay. I hope it's gay. In this, we are following this girl named Sade. Sade is in her 3rd year of high school, and she's going to start a new school, which I think is called the Alfred Nobel Academy, which is like this very prestigious place. Like a lot of like rich kids go there. Sade meets her roommate, who's this girl named Elizabeth. The next day, Elizabeth goes missing. Elizabeth is just poof, gone. And Sade is kind of like, okay, that's really fucking weird and like suspicious. But then everybody is kind of like giving Sade the side eye, being like, what did you do? People think that she had something to do with Elizabeth going missing. And so Sade is like, oh, no. But then this group of people, this group of girls, I think, approach Sade and they invite her into their fold, and they're called the Unholy Trinity, which I think is honestly kind of iconic. So Sade gets caught up with all of these girls, especially this girl named Persephone. I think I was right in it being fucking homosexual. But Sade is still like wanting to know what the fuck happened to Elizabeth. So she and this, I think, guy named Baz, who is Elizabeth's best friend, do all of this like kind of like detective-y work stuff to figure out what happened. And then a body shows up. A dead body is found. And Sade realizes there's more to Alfred Nobel Academy and its students than she thought. Secrets lurk around every corner and beneath every surface. Secrets that rival even her own. It kind of has like a similar vibe to Ace of Spades, but either way, a dark, mysterious, creepy institution, and the people who rally against it, I fucking love it. I love it. Let's also talk about Lore of the Wilds by Annalee Sabrana. But this book, like, okay, I saw this cover and it was mainly the reason I bought it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Tiffany. But then I also read the inside and I was like, okay, wait, it sounds actually kind of cool. The holographic foiling, the character art, like the back of the book. It's so beautiful. This is, once again, a romantasy moment, but like a fae romantasy. But basically, this is about this girl named Lore. Lore is kind of like trapped in her village by these like poisonous kind of woods or whatever, and she like lives in this world that's like governed by all of these like fae lords. Laura's done. Laura's over it. So she comes up with this plan to approach this like fae lord, and she convinces him that she will risk her own life for wealth. But really what she's after is actually what these faes, is that the right fae? But what she's after really is what the fae really covet the most, which is like magic. She wants magic of her own. As Lore navigates the hostile world outside, she's forced to rely on 2 males to survive. When undeniable chemistry ignites, she's not just in danger of losing her life, but also her heart to the very creatures that she could never trust. I love the drama. I love like the fairy shit. I also have this book, which I think again, I did buy because it is beautiful. It kind of sounds cool. And I think again that this is like a romantasy thing. I'm so sorry. I'm just like all about the romantasy right now, apparently. Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. Do I even need to explain myself? Tiffany. And then the back. Stop it. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. This is about this girl named Liska. Liska is afraid of her own power. Liska has these magical abilities, but magic in this world is like very, very dangerous, and like terrible things can happen. Not only that, but people who practice magic, who can use magic, are thought of as monsters, basically. And so Liska knows deep in her heart of hearts that she has to get rid of this magic shit, otherwise it's game over for her. Liska goes out into the world past her village to find this, I think, fern flower is what it's called. And this flower has the ability to grant wishes. If Liska finds it, she will grant the wish to get rid of her magic. But this flower is not easily found, and people that she knows of who have tried to find this flower have died have gone missing, have never returned. And so Liska is like, okay, I'm gonna try to be stealthy and cool and like sleek, you know? But then she gets caught by this dude, this like, I think Fey demon lord, by a demon warden of the wood named Lesky. She strikes a deal with him because he's like, hey, you're in these forests and I'm gonna murder you. And she's like, okay, but like, what if you didn't? What if you didn't? She's like, listen, if you don't kill me, I'll just become like your servant for a year. What do you think? And so they agree that Liska will serve him for 1 year and he will give her the fern flower after that 1 year of servitude. But upon arriving at this dude's like manor, she's like, wait a minute, this is not the first bargain that you've struck, and every other person who struck this bargain has now vanished. That's suspicious and weird. If Liska wants to survive the year and return home, she must unravel her host's spool of secrets and face the ghosts, figurative and literal, of his past. Because something wakes in the woods, something deadly and without mercy, something that frightens even Lesky and cannot be defeated unless Liska embraces the monster she's always feared becoming. Bruh. The cover, the synopsis, I'm in. Finally, the last book is this one called The Husbands. This is by Holly Gramazio. This cover is stunning. This book is honestly stunning. And okay, listen, I typically wouldn't really, I think, lean towards this kind of book, this kind of fiction. But when I read the synopsis, I was so like intrigued that I had to have it. Like I was like, okay, wait, that sounds amazing though. I need to know what the fuck is going on with this book. So let me tell you what this is about. The inside cover says, do you take this man? No? What about this one? So this is about this girl named Lauren. Lauren one day returns home from work and she's greeted at the door by her husband, Michael. The only issue is that she doesn't have a husband. So Lauren is greeted by this dude that she does not know, that she does not remember ever meeting, who's apparently her husband, and who apparently, according to her friends and family and everyone else and her phone and the photos on the wall, would tell you that this is her husband. But she has no recollection of ever meeting this fucking dude. But, you know, they've been together for years, apparently. And so one day, Michael, her husband, goes up to the attic to change the light bulb, and he vanishes. And what instead comes down is another husband who, once again, has been married to her for years, apparently. And it's, you know, evident through the pictures, through the certificates. So, like, her life is reformed again over this new husband. And Lauren realizes that her attic somehow is creating these husbands for her. If swapping lives is as easy as changing a light bulb, how do you know you've taken the right path? When do you stop trying to do better and actually start living? A thrilling original debut explores how we navigate love and choice in the world of never-ending options. Bro, this sounds so, first of all, funny, so interesting. Like, I read the synopsis and I was like, that's crazy. And I need to know what the hell, why. My friends, my family, my familia, thank you so much for joining me today for these beautiful book haul-ish moments. What? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you did, if you've read any of the books, if you bought any of them, if you're like intrigued as much as I am by any of them. I would love to know. Thank you so much for being here with me. It's been so much fun. I love seeing you. You're like a tulip, bursting and blooming and beautiful. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit subscribe because we talk about spooky shit, talk about creepy shit, talk about bored gay werewolves and watching and zen nights. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I will see you in my next one. Bye, Tiffany. Goodbye.